My name is Arturo Delgado, and for 10 years, I believed my mother was dead. That's what everyone told me when I was 18, that she'd had a heart attack and passed away peacefully. I mourned her, moved on with my life, and never questioned the story. Until 3 weeks ago, when my phone rang at midnight. "Is this Arturo Delgado?" a woman's voice asked. "Yes, who's calling?" I replied, annoyed at the late hour. "My name is Nurse Ellen Bradshaw. I work at Riverside Psychiatric Hospital. Sir, I need to tell you something that's going to sound impossible, but I've been working here for 15 years, and I can't keep quiet anymore." "What are you talking about?" I asked, sitting up in bed. "Your mother is alive," she said. "She's been a patient here for the past 10 years under the name Margaret Smith. But I found old photographs in her belongings, and I recognized you from a family photo. She has your eyes." My heart stopped. "That's impossible. My mother died in 2015. I was at her funeral." "Mr. Delgado, I don't know what funeral you attended, but the woman in room 217 is named Elena Delgado. She told me so herself. She's been asking about her son Arturo for years, but the man who committed her, a Vincent Delgado, he told us she was delusional, that she had no family." "Vincent," I whispered. "My uncle. He told me she was dead. He handled everything." "Sir, I think you need to come here," Ellen said. "I've risked my job making this call, but something is very wrong. Your mother doesn't belong here. She's not mentally ill. She's being held against her will." I was already grabbing my car keys. "What's the address?" She gave it to me, then added, "Be careful. Vincent Delgado visits once a month to pay her bills in cash. If he's keeping her here deliberately, then he's going to pay for it," I finished. The next morning, I stood outside room 217 with Ellen beside me. Through the small window, I saw her. Older, grayer, thinner, but unmistakably my mother. "Mom?" I whispered, pushing open the door. She looked up from her book, and her eyes widened. "Arturo? Is that really you?" I rushed to her, and we held each other while she sobbed into my shoulder. "I thought you'd forgotten me," she cried. "I thought you believed Vincent's lies." "What lies, Mom? Tell me everything," I said, pulling back to look at her face. "He wanted the business," she said, wiping her eyes. "Your father left us everything. The restaurant chain, the properties, the investments." Vincent was furious. He was Father's younger brother, and he thought he deserved it all. So he drugged my coffee one day. When I woke up, I was here. "How did he get you committed?" I asked, my fists clenching. "He forged documents," she said. "He had a corrupt psychiatrist sign papers saying I was a danger to myself. He told them I had no family, no next of kin. He paid cash every month so there'd be no insurance trail, no paper trail leading back to our family." Ellen stepped forward. "Mrs. Delgado, do you remember the psychiatrist's name?" "Dr. Gerald Marks," Mom said. "He was here the first 2 years, then he left suddenly. I heard nurses saying he'd been fired for falsifying records." "Mom, where did Vincent tell everyone you'd gone?" I asked. "He told you I died," she said bitterly. "He probably had a fake death certificate made. He had a funeral with a closed casket, didn't he?" I nodded, feeling sick. "I never saw your body. He said it was your wish to be cremated immediately." "Arturo, you have to get me out of here," she begged. "I've been trying to tell people for years, but Vincent had me labeled as delusional. Nobody believed me." "I believe you," I said, squeezing her hand. "And I'm going to make him pay for every single day he stole from us." I called my sister Maria the moment I left the asylum. "Maria, you need to sit down for this." "Arturo, it's 8 a.m. What's wrong?" she asked. "Mom's alive." Silence. Then, "What did you just say?" "I said Mom is alive. Uncle Vincent had her committed to a psychiatric hospital under a false name. He's been keeping her there for 10 years while collecting the money from Dad's estate." "That's impossible," Maria breathed. "I was at her funeral. We both were." "It was a closed casket, Maria. Did you ever find that strange? Did you ever actually see her body?" Another pause. "Oh my God." Vincent insisted on handling everything. He said it was too traumatic for us to be involved in the arrangements. "Because there was no body," I said. "He staged the whole thing." "Maria, I need you to meet me at David Chen's office in an hour. We need a lawyer, and we need to move fast." David Chen's office was downtown, and he'd been our family's lawyer since before Dad died. Maria and I sat across from his massive desk while I explained everything. "This is serious criminal fraud," David said, taking notes. "Kidnapping, fraud, forgery, theft. Vincent could be looking at decades in prison. But we need evidence." "What kind of evidence?" Maria asked. "First, we need to prove Elena is who she says she is," David said. "DNA test between you and her. That's easy. Second, we need the forged documents, the fake death certificate, the psychiatric commitment papers, any financial records showing Vincent accessing your mother's estate." "How do we get those?" I asked. "We hire a private investigator," David said, picking up his phone. "I know someone excellent. Detective Robert Pierce, retired LAPD. He specializes in financial fraud cases." He dialed, and within minutes, a gravelly voice answered. "Pierce." "Robert, it's David Chen. I'm putting you on speaker. I have a case that's right up your alley. Kidnapping, identity fraud, and embezzlement spanning 10 years. "I'm listening," Pierce said. I explained everything again. When I finished, Pierce whistled. "This Vincent guy is either a genius or an idiot. 10 years is a long time to maintain a lie. He's gotten sloppy somewhere, I guarantee it." "Can you find the evidence?" Maria asked. "Lady, I can find evidence Nixon hid in his grave," Pierce said. "But I need access to public records, financial databases, and property records. Mr. Chen, can you get me a subpoena?" "I can do better," David said. "I can get the police involved right now. This is active kidnapping. We can get a warrant." "Wait," I said. "If we go to the police now, Vincent will hear about it and run. Can we gather everything first, then drop it on him all at once?" Pierce chuckled. "I like how this kid thinks. Give me 1 week. I'll get you everything you need to bury this guy." 5 days later, Pierce called me. "Got him." "Tell me," I said, putting him on speaker so Maria could hear. "Your Uncle Vincent has been living like a king off your mother's estate," Pierce said. "He's been filing tax returns claiming to be executor of a deceased woman's estate. That's your mom. I found the forged death certificate at the county records office. Amateurish work. The doctor who supposedly signed it died 3 years before the date on the certificate." "What else?" Maria asked. "The commitment papers for Margaret Smith at Riverside Asylum were signed by Dr. Gerald Marks, who was later arrested for accepting bribes to sign fake psychiatric evaluations. He's currently serving time in federal prison. I contacted him, and he's willing to testify that Vincent paid him $50,000 to commit Elena." "That's amazing," I said. "I'm not done," Pierce continued. "Vincent has been withdrawing large sums from your mother's accounts every month. I've got bank records showing transfers to his personal account totaling $1.2 million over 10 years. He also sold 2 of your family's properties and pocketed the cash." David spoke up. "Robert, is this enough for criminal charges?" "It's enough to lock him up for 20 years minimum," Pierce said. "Kidnapping alone is a life sentence in some states. Add fraud, forgery, theft, this guy is done." "Then let's bring him down," I said. We arranged to meet Vincent at my mother's house, technically still hers, though Vincent had been living there. David, Maria, Detective Pierce, and I arrived together. Two police detectives, Williams and Rodriguez, waited in an unmarked car outside. Vincent opened the door with his usual smug smile. "Arturo, Maria, what a surprise. What brings you both here?" "We need to talk about Mom," I said, walking past him into the house. His smile faltered. "Your mother?" "Arturo, you know I don't like—" "We know everything," Maria interrupted. "We know she's alive." Vincent's face went pale. "That's absurd. Elena is dead. I have the death certificate." "Signed by a doctor who died 3 years before the date on it," Pierce said, stepping forward. "I'm Detective Robert Pierce. I've been investigating you, and I've got enough evidence to put you away for life." "You're bluffing," Vincent said. David pulled out a folder. "Forged death certificate, falsified commitment papers, bank records showing $1.2 million in fraudulent transfers. DNA test confirming Elena Delgado is alive and in Riverside Asylum." Vincent staggered backward. "No, this can't be happening." "You stole 10 years from her," I said. "You put my mother in a mental institution so you could steal her money." "Your father never appreciated me," Vincent shouted. "He left me nothing. I built that business with him." "So you locked up our mother?" Maria yelled. "I was desperate. I had debts." "You're going to prison," I said. I opened the door. Detectives Williams and Rodriguez walked in. "Vincent Delgado, you're under arrest for kidnapping, fraud, and embezzlement," Williams said, pulling out handcuffs. "No, Arturo, please. I'm your uncle. We're family. I made a mistake. I'll give the money back." Vincent grabbed my arm. I pulled away. "You stopped being family the day you locked up my mother." Rodriguez cuffed him and read his rights. Vincent sobbed, but we stayed silent as they led him to the police car. 2 weeks later, I sat in David Chen's office with Maria and my mother, who'd been released from the asylum. "The DA called this morning," David said. "Vincent's taking a plea deal. 22 years in federal prison for kidnapping and fraud. No parole for 15 years. He's forfeiting all assets and paying full restitution." 22 years, Maria said. "He'll be 80 when he gets out." Mom wiped her eyes. "It's over?" "It's over," I said, hugging her. "The business is back in your name, Elena," David continued. "I've filed suits to recover the properties Vincent sold. Nurse Bradshaw is being protected as a whistleblower, and the hospital will likely settle for millions." "I want to thank her," Mom said. 3 days later, Vincent's lawyer called. Vincent wanted to apologize before sentencing. We met at the county jail. Vincent sat across from us in an orange jumpsuit, looking broken. "Elena," Vincent began, "I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I was weak. I was greedy. I know I can never make this right, but please—" "Stop," Mom said coldly. "I don't want your apology." "Please, just listen." "No," Mom interrupted. "You had 10 years to come clean. 10 years to tell my children I was alive. Instead, you let them mourn me." "I know, and I hate myself." "I don't care," Mom said, standing. "You're going to prison for 22 years. Maybe you'll understand what it's like to be locked up while the world moves on without you." "Elena, please forgive me," Vincent cried. "Never," Mom said. "Arturo, Maria, we're leaving." I looked at Vincent one last time. "We're renaming the business Elena's Legacy. Every day, people will see that name and know my mother survived. She survived you." "Arturo, I'm your blood." "You're nothing to me," I said. "Enjoy prison." We walked out while Vincent sobbed. None of us looked back. A month later, we held a grand reopening. The new sign read Elena's Legacy in gold letters. Detective Williams approached us. "Mrs. Delgado, Vincent's adjusting poorly to prison. He's in protective custody because inmates don't take kindly to family abusers." "Good," Mom said. Ellen Bradshaw approached shyly. Mrs. Delgado, I'm Ellen. Mom pulled her into a hug. You saved my life. You gave me back my children. I just did what was right, Ellen said. Your family now, Mom said. Always. That evening, we sat on Mom's porch watching the sunset. I'm not going to say I forgive Vincent, Mom said quietly. He stole a decade of my life. But I'm not going to let him steal any more of my time. I'm going to focus on rebuilding, on being here for you both. That's the best revenge, Maria said. Living well. Mom smiled. It's not revenge, it's justice. Revenge would have been trying to hurt him back. Justice was letting the law handle it. Justice was watching him face the consequences of his choices. And justice won. She was right. We hadn't stooped to Vincent's level. We'd exposed the truth and let the system work. Have you ever had someone in your family betray you this badly? I asked. Someone who was supposed to love you, but instead tried to erase you from existence? Would you have been able to show the restraint we did? Or would you have wanted personal revenge? Mom squeezed my hand. I'm proud of you, Arturo. You didn't let anger make you like Vincent. You fought back the right way. Sitting there with my mother and sister, I realized that was the real victory. Not just putting Vincent behind bars, but reclaiming our lives, our family, and our dignity. Like and subscribe for more stories about people who refused to be victims and fought back the right way, I said with a grin. Mom and Maria laughed, and for the first time in 10 years, our family was whole again.